Good evening, Up. We are so glad that you're here with us. It is the last Monday and Tuesday in the month of October. It's the last ones. We're almost to November. Next Monday and Tuesday, we're into November. And so we only have a couple nights of Up left. So I hope that you continue to learn your verse, show up, play the game, do the craft, participate, and earn points for your team. And when we close tonight, I will have right here on my phone the current point totals for your team. So I can't wait to share those with you. Head on off to crafts. You got a great craft tonight. You got a great game tonight. Good lesson tonight to learn. We'll see you at the end for the closing.
Hi guys, so for crafts this week, in your bag you're going to need the yarn, 2 eyes, and you will find 3 sheets. One is going to have printed on it a piece of cardstock, a plain piece of cardstock, and then you're going to find a picture of Esau. Now, you can either choose to do both of the crafts, or we thought maybe some of the older kids might just want to do this one. And what this is you can decorate Esau with open arms any way you would like. And we would love to see pictures of it, so you can post it on Facebook if you would like. This is just Esau's arms wide open, welcoming Jacob back home. The other craft is like this. What you're going to do is you're going to cut out the head of Esau, and we have our memory verse for the week here. Give thanks to God, for he is good. Psalms 107. Then what we're going to do is you're going to take out your glue from home, and you can glue this on here. Then you're going to, with the other piece of cardstock, trace your hands. These are going to kind of look funny because they're big, but you can glue the hands here. Now we have our arms wide open. Esau is welcoming his brother home. He's forgiven his brother. We should always all forgive. Then we have our yarn. You can put your glue on here and place some hair any way you want. You can make it long or short. And then get your googly eyes. Googly eyes are always fun. You can put them on any way you want. You can use your glue so it'll stay on. Then you can put a nose any way you choose. Don't forget a big giant happy face, because he was very happy because they have chosen to forgive. And there you go. The craft is finished. I would love to see pictures of your finished product. I hope you enjoy. We'll see you next time.
How you guys doing? So glad you're back.
What's up? We are back for games tonight. Myself and Seth, we're going to show you a fun game. We have our dodgeballs. Seth will explain the game now.
So this game is going to be called Knockout. Like Noah said, you can start with dodgeballs, you can start with basketballs, any type of item that you have that will roll well. It does have to roll well, so a sock may not work that well, and you can have as many as you want. We are going to have 4 each. The way this works is we are going to take turns rolling our ball into a hula hoop. If you don't have a hula hoop, draw with some chalk a circle, make a square, whatever you want to make, something to roll your balls into.
What if I'm rolling on the grass?
You just have to roll a little bit harder.
Well, what can I use for a
You
circle?
can use cones, maybe.
I can use
or
a cone.
you can use clothes.
How about
maybe some towels.
Maybe some rope.
Maybe some rope. Anything
rope will work.
that would make a space that you have to roll a ball into. So you're going to, again, take turns rolling it. Every ball of yours that remains inside that circle at the end, when there are no more balls to roll, you get 1 point for each of yours that is inside that circle. We're going to demonstrate. Let us start.
So now hold on. We're
Oh.
using bright colors and dark colors.
That's
so
right.
as you can see, he's got the brighter colors, I have the darker colors, so then we can tell whose ball stays in the hula hoop, the dark or the bright.
Or the bright. Keep track of which ones are yours so you don't have any confusion with how you're going to score your game.
Ready?
You're going to start behind a line or what, a tree, maybe a rock, maybe a hat.
You just made a line.
Oh, he just made a line.
made a line.
You don't need this hat. Stay behind your line to start, one person at a time. So Mr. Noah will roll first.
Can I throw all the balls at the same time,
You can
Seth?
throw one ball at a time.
One ball at a time.
Yep.
Do I bounce it?
You roll it.
Can I throw it?
You can roll it.
Roll it only.
Yeah.
Only.
Only rolling.
Let's rock, paper, scissors, we go straight.
Let's do that.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Is this extreme version?
You
Oh!
win, you go first.
Winner, winner. Here we go. Oh, it rolled out.
0 points
No
for
points.
you. My turn.
If your partner's ball does end up staying in the circle, you can knock it out with your next throw. Your next roll. Not throw, but roll.
Your turn. 1-0.
Get up. Ah!
Oh, still 1-0.
Not a good game.
That's a good fancy.
Between the legs, because he's winning. See, that's what happens when you get fancy.
Got fancy.
Got too fancy. Knock it.
Whoa, that was some good defense.
All right. All right.
It's tough.
One last chance for each of us.
Hold
Now
on.
it could go up 2-1, or I have a chance to tie it.
Oh, I got one more shot.
And that is the game.
Winner,
Noah
winner,
has
chicken
1
dinner.
point. You can play as many rounds as you want throughout the whole time. You can say first person to 7 wins, however you guys would like to do it. Have fun. Enjoy. See ya.
John, Acts, Romans to Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st Timothy, 2nd Timothy, Titus, Philemon, and Hebrews, and James, and 1st Peter, 2nd Peter, 1, 2, 3 John, Jude, and Revelation, 1, 2, 3 John, Jude, and Revelation. Hey, hey, he is the truth, the life, the way. He is the truth, the life, the only way. The truth, the life, the way. He is the truth, the life, the only way. The New Testament. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Acts, Romans to Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st Timothy, 2nd Timothy, Titus, Philemon, and Hebrews, and James, and 1st Peter, 2nd Peter, 1, 2, 3 John, Jude, and Revelation, 1, 2, 3 John, Jude, and Revelation. The life, the way. He is the truth, the life, the only way. The truth, the life, the way. He is the truth, the life, the only way. The New Testament song. The New Testament song. Come on, the New Testament. Sweet.
Ephesians 2:8.
For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. It is the gift of God. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. It is the gift of God. La-di-da, la-di-da, oh, not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. It is the gift of God. La-di-da, 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 oh, not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. It is the gift of God. La-di-da. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and it's not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. It is the gift of God. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and it's not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. It is the gift of God. La-di-da, la-di-da, oh, not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. It is the gift of God. La-di-da, 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 oh, not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. It is the gift of God. La-di-da. Hey. La-di-da, la-di-da, oh, not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. It is the gift of God. La-di-da. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and it's not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. It is the gift of God.
Okay guys, welcome back to I'm so glad you're able to join us once again. We're going to get right in it today. We are still in Genesis and we're going to be going through that for the rest of our time here. Last week you guys heard a story about two brothers. One of them Esau, the other one Jacob, and they were fighting, and we're going to continue a story a little bit later on in their lives. So we left off when Jacob had stolen Esau's blessing. He already got the birthright from Esau, and now he stole the blessing from the father. It was given to the younger son. And they split ways. They part ways after that. And we're going to pick up about 20 years down the road. So 20 years down the road, Jacob, we see he had been living with his uncle for a long period of time. And now God is calling him back to his homeland, where he came from. The land his brother is still living in. And he knows being called back means he's going to see his brother again. But he is being obedient to what God is calling him. Now there's a saying out there. It's an older saying. Is it better to give or receive forgiveness? I think both of them are really good practices, both giving forgiveness and receiving forgiveness. Receiving forgiveness may seem like the easier thing, but in order to get it, sometimes you have to ask for it first. But in today's story, we're going to see the opposite happen, where forgiveness is given without even having to ask for it. So, if you are following along, if you have our Bibles, we're going to be in Genesis chapter 32. Chapter 32. And like I mentioned earlier, Jacob is called to go back to his homeland. So he starts this journey to return back to where he came from. And I'm pretty sure he's a little bit nervous. He's a little bit scared. What did it tell us about his brother? His brother was so angry with Jacob when he stole that blessing that he wanted to kill him. That is very angry. I've never had someone so angry at me, at least I don't think I have, that they wanted to kill me. But that's what we see it saying in the Bible. And he's going back. So as he is returning, let's go and see chapter 23, verse 9. It says this. Then Jacob prayed, O God of my father Abraham, God of my father Isaac, O Lord, who said to me, go back to your country and your relatives, and I will make you prosper. So as he's going back, the first thing he does, he stops and he prays. I think that's very important to point out. He stops and he prays. When he is afraid of something, when he's nervous about doing something, he pauses and he goes to God. That's something I think we all need to put into practice in our lives. When there's something we think we can't handle, we know it's too much for us to handle, a lot of the times we try to do it anyways by ourselves. Maybe we turn to our friends. Maybe we turn to our parents. Good people to turn to as well. But I think the most important person we need to be going before us in times like that is God. And we see Jacob turn to God. And very, very important to point out is that he is asking God for not only protection from his brother, but we see a change in heart in Jacob as he's obeying God and following what God has for him now. Before, he was putting himself first and what he wanted first. But now he's putting God first. Something that we need to do in our lives as well. Always putting God's wants and God's needs before our own wants and before our own needs. So let's continue looking in the story. We're going to skip ahead a little bit and we're going to go to chapter 33. So we'll go to chapter 33 and start off with this. It's the next morning. It took him a little bit to get to his homeland, a few days. So we go to the morning of him meeting his brother. And this is what it says, chapter 33. It said, Jacob looked up, and there was Esau coming with 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the two maidservants. So Jacob, again, is preparing for the worst. The last he saw his brother, he was angry. And now he sees him coming at him with 400 men, it says. Jacob, before this, had sent some of his own servants ahead of it, even them a few days ahead, and they were to soften Esau up. They were to present gifts to him and tell him about his brother coming. And they do exactly that. So when they report back to Jacob that your brother's coming to meet you, he gets a little bit nervous. And now he sees the amount of people that he's bringing with him. So he's preparing for the best, preparing for the worst, and hoping for the best. And let's continue going on, reading down a little bit further and seeing what happens after that. We are going to be in verse 4, 33 verse 4. And it said, But Esau ran to meet Jacob, embraced him. He threw his arms around his neck, kissed him, and they wept. So we see an act from Esau that wasn't expected from Jacob. It wasn't an act of violence. It wasn't an act of aggression or anything like that. It was an act of love. He ran to him and to meet him on his way there. He threw his arms around him, embraced him, and Esau is forgiving Jacob. Jacob didn't have to say anything. Forgiveness was given before it was even asked for. Some time they spent apart. Again, the 20 years they spent apart, God changed their hearts. And God worked on both the brothers' hearts, and it changed their attitudes towards each other. And I think God does the same thing for us in our lives. A lot of the times we've had to, or throughout our lives, we had to ask forgiveness sometimes, or we've had to extend forgiveness to others in our lives. I remember when I was in high school, I was a senior in high school, and we were asked to do a task by our youth pastor. He gave us a task to go to think back if there's anyone in our lives in which we need to either ask for forgiveness to or give forgiveness to. And I thought about it for a little bit, and I thought of someone. There was a person back still in high school, but around my freshman year, where we just didn't get along very well. We did a lot of mean things back and forth to each other, and this, because of our rivalry, I can call it, we never had a really good friendship. We were never that close. We kind of stayed away from each other. This assignment was given to ask for forgiveness. And so I still had his number, and I was going to give him a call. And let me tell you, it took a very long time for me to work up the courage to make this call. It should have been something simple. It sounds like something very simple, just to ask forgiveness of someone. Ask them to forgive you for what you've done. But in my heart, I still wasn't ready to be forgiven, because I still thought I wasn't the one who was in the wrong in those situations. I wasn't the one needing to be forgiven. I was the one who should have been asked to give forgiveness. And that's a lot of pride in my life. I think a lot of times when we find ourselves in those situations, we can see either pride coming up, where you think you're not the person who did something wrong, or whatever it might be. But we need to put aside those feelings, and we need to be the person who is big enough and showing grace to be the first person to ask for forgiveness. So I eventually make this call. And it's been a while since I've talked with this guy. He still went to our church. Every once in a while he would join us for our events, but not too often. So I make the call, and he picks up the phone. And I talk to him. I'm like, hey, it's Seth. I'm not sure if you quite remember me. Like, we used to go to the same youth group together. He's like, oh yeah, I remember. And even before I was able to ask for forgiveness, I said, listen, back in the day, there was a lot of things that I've done to you. He stopped me in the middle of my sentence, and he said, don't worry, I've already forgiven you for what you've done. And I hope that you are able to forgive me as well. And when he said that, I just realized how much pride and how much I was holding on to, and things that I shouldn't have been dwelling on and holding on to. I needed to let go of the pride I had. And hearing him say he already forgave me, and hearing him ask for forgiveness from me for what he had in turn had done as well, it was really easy to give that forgiveness. We talked for a few more minutes on the phone, and then we hung up. And we've seen each other a little bit since then, and never been the same closeness, or never been really that close after that. But we know that there is nothing that we're holding on to, no grudge, no resentment towards each other. And we see that in this story. These two brothers, Jacob and Esau, God worked on their hearts as well. And in the end, they had no grudge towards each other. They didn't have any resentment towards each other. Esau didn't any longer want to kill Jacob. And I think it's a very important story, a short but important story for our lives. Are there anything in our lives that we need to let go? And is there anyone in our lives, friends, maybe family members, that we need to forgive, or that we need to ask them to forgive us for something? When we hold on to anger like that, it could only mean bad things for us. So I just want to challenge and encourage each of you guys to think about those things that you guys may have to ask forgiveness for, or give forgiveness for. Let's go ahead and pray. Father, I just thank you for this story about these two brothers. Thank you for the lessons that we're able to see from it, and just hear about what it means to give forgiveness, and what it looks like to be able to fully forgive someone and not hold any more bitterness in our hearts. And I just ask that we're able to put into practice lessons from these stories in our daily life. I just ask that you be with us as we go throughout the rest of our week and into our small groups, just blessing these conversations with our leaders. Just pray this in your name. Amen. Thank you guys. See you next week.
All right, guys, I hope you had a great time tonight. We have just a few minutes before you head to small groups, so I promised you I would tell you the scores that Miss Kathy has sent me right on my phone. Oh my goodness, my phone just shut off. No, I'm kidding. It's right here. It's right here. If you're on the blue team, do you think you guys caught up and are ahead? Or orange team, did you stay ahead from last week? I will let you know. Last week I shared the blue team score first, so this week I will share the orange team score. The orange team, are you doing like a drum roll? The orange team has 16,450 points. 16,450 points. Excellent job, orange team. The blue team has, drum roll, the blue team has 15,720 points. 15,720 points. So again, the orange team is still ahead. Blue team, come on. You guys got to fight back. You can earn enough points. There is still plenty of time for you to earn the points. So I hope you'll do that. I hope you'll, again, join us this Friday here at the church for the drive-through trunk or treat. Can't wait to see you, see your costumes, hand some candy to you. And I hope you guys have a great night in the Lord. Take care. Bye.